Welcome, Aries guys, to your Book of Changes online I Ching relationship spread for the month of February 2017. These cards are meant to give you insight into the influences affecting your relationship this month. The first two cards, this side representing you, are meant to give you an inner look in the grounding affecting your relationship, so the foundations of it. This card here is meant to give you a little bit of an insight into what your relationship is anchored upon, and also can give you an idea of what could be undermining security within the relationship. So, beginning the reading, we have Small is Beautiful, which is a powerful hexagram of reminding us that we need to treat everything seriously, very delicately, just as if everything were as delicate as a butterfly's wings. So this card is very much about reminding us that just like the butterfly is really not likely to land on one line and keep on going, it's rather going to flit about and really wow everybody in the process. So this card is also letting you know that you can't take on more emotional weight than you can emotionally take. So if you're not used to taking on as much as you've been taking on and it's starting to show, then it's a good time to take it a little bit easy. This card always reminds us that by relaxing and meditating, we can get back to that center of ourselves. So just remember that things that always have been seemed as little and a nuisance could be the most important thing this month. So as a reminder, it's saying that yes, your hands are tied and certain circumstances are difficult at the moment. You may have been overextending your responsibilities to others. So if you've been overextending yourself, this is a good time to cut back. It also is a warning just not to upset people. If you can avoid it, don't say things that could mess up a relationship or mess up any kind of a good thing you've got going. Or just don't say the wrong thing. If you know, just think before you speak. So this card is also saying that by tending to the small, you have a good chance of attracting what you need at this time. So this final story, just to keep in mind, is the myth of Icarus, the mythological man that went too close to the sun when he was warned not to by his father, and ended up melting the wings of the wax that kept Pegasus afloat. That's kind of like you. It's a little bit more masculine than a butterfly, so I hope you enjoy that image. So for your partner, Aries, we have the Abysmal. And this seems at first sight like a pretty ominous card, but it's not necessarily. It doesn't have to be. This card is telling us that when things seem at their worst and you are most likely to get caught up in the waterfall dragging you down to the depths, it's a good time to look out for the signs that led up to that. And realize that your mind is in control. Your partner's mind is in more control than they think. So just really support that with them, Aries, this month, and remind them somehow of that. So if they feel like they're being pulled down by things, or there's something that you can contribute, this is a good time to let them know that you understand that. It's also a hexagram, which says that just like the Small is Beautiful hexagram, that sometimes just the small, careful steps can lead us out of a precarious situation. Sometimes the things that our partners get up to we obviously don't have any control over. So this card is a good time to wait and let them trust their own inner guidance before they continue on, and not to rush a situation. However, if you intuit that you have some advice for your partner about this situation, it's a good time to share it with them. This card calls for self-observation, and even if you find yourself sort of flooded in a situation, it's a reminder to be patient and hold your breath, because it'll disappear soon. So let your mind stop its twirlings right now, and that's going to be half the battle to releasing the power of what this force feels like. Okay, so the third and fourth cards are depicting the emotional climate, and this card is meant to give you a little bit of an insight into what you are hoping for in terms of your partner, and also ways that you can make communication clearer. Because these cards are in the heart position, they could be telling us where there is some vulnerability issues, or where you do not trust your partner. These cards can also shed light on what it is that we've used to cover our own personal fears. So this card is the attraction of the opposites, Aries, and this is a really good card for any relationship reading, because it's a card that's telling you that to be aware in what could be the overpowering aspects of any relationship. Just because you're mutually attracted doesn't always guarantee success. And sometimes attraction can disappear as quickly as it appeared. So that leaves everybody a little bit confused. So if there is a very, very strong sense of attraction here, and the fruit and the temptation that comes with it, while this card is saying that that might exist, it can also be dangerous to not realize it. So don't ignore that attraction that you have. If one partner is more attracted to another, then if this comes with a certain ultimatum, or a sense that it must happen very soon, then there is some ego involved there, and it shows that there is some disharmony. So be careful of being over seductive, and the return to normalcy and a firm foundation will of course lead the way for a smoother path ahead. So powerful attraction can move mountains and has created entire buildings. I'm thinking the Taj Mahal here. But sometimes it's time to just view things from a more unemotional perspective. Also, if we look at the two of these people here, they are metaphorically, they're two gods who are very enamored of one another. And this card is saying that you could feel sort of damned if you do and damned if you don't. So it would be really not wise to do something because it's your partner's opinion right now. So at the same time, go for it, is what this card is saying. Okay, for your partner's heart position card, we have hexagram 24, which is the turning point. The turning point is one of my favorite cards, because it's talking about how, just as in nature, there is a time when spring becomes summer and winter becomes spring. That time right before that happens is sometimes the time that we feel least patient for the changes to come about. So if there's been any impatience on the part of your partner for anything, this card is saying that they would be wise to go with the flow and realize that they can't force anything in the relationship. By trying to force things, they are covering up their own emotional wounds. So if you've been feeling hurried, Aries, this could be the reason why. They might have some hidden fears underneath there. Yeah. The last cards, 5 and 6, that we focus on are your current state of mind and what you hope for of one another. These cards are really about helping you have a little bit of a fresh perspective on one another and the relationship. So let's see what guidance is held within these hexagrams. This hexagram is splitting apart, which is hexagram 23, and this card is saying that sometimes there are things that need to come away from each other before they can come together again. So this is actually a card of endings. Whether it be something that is ending within the relationship or a relationship itself, it's better to see things that seem to be at odds with one another as the great big whole, the holistic perspective of it. So just as our own organisms are dying and living and rebirthing, and new cells give way to even newer cells, and the dead ones slough off when there is disharmony and something is tweaked in this process, it causes bad health. So when something is past its time, it's time to let go. So just letting nature run its course is sort of the message of this card. This doesn't necessarily mean the end of a relationship, but if it does, it's best to just go with the flow. This card is also warning you not to act out of any inner fears or feelings of neediness. The universe more than likely has your back. So if you're feeling lonely, that's just going to be a period right now. Don't give way to being unnecessarily negative about life, because really kind of breakdowns or breakthroughs in this point with this card. If something is done, it's done. So if this is actually heralding a breakup amongst some of you, there could be the chance that something happens and you reunite. So be open-minded. And basically, if you're neutral, that's the best. So get rid of negativity and be neutral. All right, we have hexagram, which is obstacles for your partner. And this is a powerful little card because it shows a picture of a boat amidst a storm at sea, and it seems pretty unlikely that it's going to be okay. This is a reminder that sometimes we look at other people's lives, celebrities' lives, the next door neighbors, and it just seems like everything that they do is graced, but that's really not the case. There are certain obstacles that everybody has to overcome, and by reminding yourself of this, it's going to be better than succumbing to complete alienation. You're not the only one who's gone through the hardest times. So if there is something that is indeed very trying at this time, it's a good time to rest and just get a perspective of it before you overreact. Again, just as the picture in this card depicts, it's sometimes we need to use our gifts to help more than just our own goals or wishes. So ways to do that could be giving up everyday habits that we have, and especially letting go of the negative habits. This card is also saying that vulnerability can help us get through this time. So if your partner, Aries, has any kind of problems with vulnerability, where they places where they won't let you in, know that it's because maybe subconsciously they think that they can't show their weakness because that's not something that other people seem like is shown. Okay. The final card is meant to give us the insight into the relationship reading, and to all the cards that we got, and we have pushing upward. This is generally a really positive card that's just saying the time is right now. Don't hold back. Everything that you've worked for is giving way now to your success. So whatever support that you may have been hoping for, it's available to you now. And really, you're appreciating all the difficult times because they've helped you in getting to this point. This card is also saying that if you have it in you to ask for help, don't hesitate to do that, because the people that you want to ask for help from would be very complimented to receive that request. This is a good time to let go of any hesitation or any feelings of insecurity, because people are likely to pick up on that, and it's just a good moment to reach for the stars. So be careful that you don't allow this to become sort of like a workaholic addiction sort of thing. This card is really saying that everything that you've worked for, you deserve. So grab at it. You might have something under you that you didn't really realize the benefit to you with this card. So if somebody is continually saying, wow, you're amazing for some reason, don't just sway it aside. Just really look at what gifts you both have, and just work on those, because the self-confidence that you get by sharing those with the world will radiate back into the relationship. Okay, so this card is also saying that you might need help from other people, and if you want to make your highest dreams come true, it's really gonna take just a few bits of asking for help and advice. Also, don't be egoistic about this, or think that this is a time where, because you're doing so well, you don't have to, you're doing well for the sake of doing well and being better than others. If that's the case, then it could turn out not as great. So just remember to stay humble and grateful, and don't overreact by this wonderful news. Okay, I hope that offered some insight. Thank you for subscribing and sharing. I'm on Twitter as well. And if you would like a private reading, please email ichingbithea@gmail.com. Thanks, and I look forward to doing your reading next month.